Officer's Log 01. Stardate 01-01-2081. This is Fiery Shadows, Junior Engineering Officer of the Umbral Pyre Manufacturing and Logistics Corporation. Cryosleep was interrupted. It appears the UPML expedition has been lost, and the lifeboats have been ejected. I'm currently adrift in an unknown star system, far from civilization. From what I can tell, I am on the edge of the fabled star system of Kien that Umbral Pyre had charted all those years ago, and which should have been the destination for the colony ship. So far, there is no sign of sentient life in this sector, nor any other survivors. Life support and power have now switched to reserves. I'm too far out from my distress beacon to be detected, and even if it were picked up, I would have surely perished by the time a rescue party arrives. My first point of order is self-preservation. The cryopod works wonders, but only so long as the ship remains powered. I'll need to establish a reliable source of food and make some drastic alterations to the lifeboat if I am to survive out here alone.
Right. Suit is online. HUD is online. We are currently drifting. We have power, but I don't know how long that's going to last. Let's figure out what's going on, shall we? Let's shut ourselves on the bridge. What have we got? Survival kit offline. Thrusters are offline. Seem to be drifting, so we need to stabilise the drift. We need to get our thrusters back on. Thankfully. Most of these just turn off automatically to conserve power. So there we go. Gyro back on. We now have control. Thrusters back online. Dampeners back online. We are now stable. Here we go. Right. Lights back online. I think all systems should be functional. In theory, the oxygen tank is full. So I think what's happened is we ran out of ice. Is that why we've been woken up from cryosleep? Yes. Okay, we're out of ice. Let's grab those. They could be useful. Okay, that's taken us from having 30 days. We've got about a day of power with all systems going. We need a source of food, we need a source of oxygen, and we need a source of power that doesn't rely on having ice. So we need an oxygen farm, we'll need an algae farm, and we'll probably need some storage at some point. Half oxygen farm takes computers, construction components, small steel tubes, glass. I think we can do all that in the survival kit. Build info. The oxygen farms require the same amount of materials regardless of which variant we use. I presume that's the same for the algae farm, isn't it? Yes. We're going to need solar panels. Solar panels require glass and solar cells. I don't know if we can make solar cells. Well, that's useful, isn't it? We can make the solar cells, but we can't make glass. I don't think anything else uses solar cells. So we're also going to need a basic assembler. Okay. We can make do. We're going to need to get a boatload of stone. And we're going to have to start basically Frankensteining this ship. I don't know if there are any other lifeboats about, but we're just going to have to hope there are. It'll be awfully lonely out here all by myself. Right, we do have some asteroids around, and I think our best bet is to go and have a gander, get some resources, see what we get. At the very least we can get some stone. Let's just quickly set up some hotbars, because there are no controls for this ship. What do we need? We are going to want a group for thrusters reverse. So the two backward thrusters we want to put onto a group. We don't have any landing gear. Yeah, it appears that's the only one which we do want to have. That's the only group we need so far. There isn't a lot on this ship. Let's get our reverse group on, have a toggle to do on and off, because that means we can just point at a rock, or near a rock, say for example that one. We don't have a lot of power, so we need to conserve. It's occurred to me that perhaps, instead of Frankensteining the ship, I could set up an asteroid base temporarily, just to get some of the resources we need. We can try and hop between asteroids, or even refit the ship as required. I don't have an ore detector on this ship, so we're going to have to get up close and personal with the asteroid with our own tools. And the other thing is the sun's a deadly laser, so ideally I don't really want to be out in the sun for too long if I can help it, or find somewhere in the shade. Depressurize in here for a moment. Oh, it goes red on this depressurize. That's nice. Right. Notice how we got some radiation during that transit there. Let's see, is there anything useful here? Not that I can see. But that's okay, we just need a bit of stone. Ah, yes. Okay. No gravity. I'm so used to working in gravity. It's okay, I think we can take a fair bit of radiation. We're quite hardy. It doesn't mean that we want to make a habit of it though. Okay. Let's... I don't think I've got a cargo access port. At least not an easy one to get to, other than the one in the cockpit, and even then I can kind of only get to it. This was not really well thought out. Oh, my food's going down quite considerably. Okay, we're going to have to seriously focus on getting an algae farm or something up and running. For while we have a handful of kelp crisps, it's not a whole lot. Let's get this working on various bits and pieces. There we go, we need a whole bunch of ingots. We'll get our resources and we'll see if we can find somewhere to set up. Drilling without gravity is actually quite difficult. In gravity, it's fine, the rocks will just fall down. Out of gravity, they just fly everywhere. I've got loads of rocks flying around. One of the first things we're going to need to do is get a drill on the ship. Or even get a temporary platform. Temporary asteroid base is probably going to be the way forward. I'm going to keep gathering resources and maybe scout out this asteroid a little bit. And we'll see what we're looking like when we come back. Okay. I've run into our first issue. Our first problem that we need to solve. In fact, there's two problems that we need to solve. The first one is our hydrogen. What we have is what we have. I can't get any more until we make some ice. Or find some ice. And because of that, we've got to conserve what we have. The second issue is it's dark. In the shade where I'm protected from the sun, I can't see anything. Which is a problem, because I can't see how far away I am from the back of this little cave overhang thing. Now, I can fix this with a spotlight. Now, the spotlight needs large steel tubes, which we can't make. Survival Kit can only make computers, construction components, displays, girders, interior plates, motors, solar cells, and steel plates. We can't make the large steel tubes. Now, I can use a floodlight, because the floodlight only takes construction components, interior plates, girders, and steel plates. It does need bulletproof glass, but that's only to finish it off. To make it functional, you can see that little red line underneath the functional, and sort of where it sits above the construction components. As long as I get everything below that line, it will work. So we can make floodlights and we can strap them to the front of the ship. That will give us some ability to see where we're going. I can, let's put one there. Let's put one there. Don't mind me, just recharging my suit. Wasn't paying attention to how much power I was consuming. Right, I'm going to have to wait for this to do the things it needs to do and then weld them up, and we'll come back. The floodlights are built. I need to remember that I can walk around the outside of my ship without needing to use my jetpack, so I need to just keep that in mind. That would be a good way of conserving the hydrogen. The issue would be maybe getting back into the ship, but you know what? We can do it. It's not the end of the world. Now we can actually see how far away we are from things, which is going to be incredibly important for not crashing. Right. I'm going to go back to surveying this asteroid to see what I can find, and hopefully we can come back with either some ore deposits, or at least a good place to set up a temporary asteroid base while we work on our task of getting to the nearest planet. Okay, I've done some basic scanning, aka fly around the asteroid and look for ore deposits. I can't see any. Without an ore detector, it's really difficult to actually find ores unless you can physically see it. Because of how dark it is, and the fact that I don't have proper spotlights on this ship, it's even more so. So what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to just set up a little base thing, a little platform, a little temporary base in this little nook here, and hope that I can stay out the sun long enough to, well, A, not fry, but also just get a temporary base going. I'm over halfway through my food bar, and these kelp crisps, they don't give a lot. 8%. Oh, they really don't give a lot. We need to get moving. So that gives me 64%, which is just enough to take me back up to 100 if I ate them all at once. But I don't really want to do that if I can help it. So we need to start getting some stuff together. We need a basic assembler, because we need the bulletproof glass. We need an algae farm. We need some solar panels for power. And we also need oxygen farm. The issue with all of those three things is they require the sun to power it. And I very much don't want to be in the sun. I'm a vampire, I will burn. So, we're going to have to get a little bit creative. Now, the spot I've picked, I'm hoping, stays out of the sun the majority of the time, which means we can be outside and build things. For the items which require the sun to function, like the oxygen farm, algae farm, and the solar panels, we are going to have to put on a pylon or something to get it out into the sun. That is a future me problem, but it's a problem I'm going to have to deal with relatively soon, otherwise I will starve. So let's hop to it. Okay, so I might be in trouble. I might be in a little bit of trouble. What we've got is my food. I'm down to half of my rations and half of my actual health food thing, the food bar. And I'm nowhere near ready to construct anything. We are only getting a measly amount of steel from the stone we're collecting, or a measly amount of iron, and that translates into not a lot of steel plate. Each steel plate takes 7 iron ingots, and we're not getting a lot of it from the stone. So I need a quicker way to collect the stone, because I cannot collect it quick enough. Now, what that means is we're going to have to focus on getting this basic assembler so I can get some large steel tubes and I can attach a drill to this thing. It's not going to be pretty, but it'll be functional. Oxygen's not going to be an issue, food is going to be an issue. We need to get these algae farms up and running ASAP. We'll connect to the ship because setting up the temporary base will take too long. We are already almost out of food. We're halfway through our food reserves. This is as desperate as it's going to get. What did I say I needed for the algae farm? Computers, construction components, small steel tubes. bulletproof glass, steel plate. Can we do all of that in here? No, because we can't do the small steel tubes. So we're going to need a basic assembler anyway. Which is, you know what, that's not the end of the world. It's not terrible. Let's get one of these connected, and then we will start getting bits and pieces up and running. We'll attach it to the top of the ship, and we'll use the ship to power it. The ship should have ample power reserves, I hope. Now, the prime location for the algae farm is going to be on the top here, because that's the only exposed connection point we've got so far. I mean, I could build a conveyor and bring it out here. That is an option. I don't know where all the other conveyor points are on this craft. I imagine there's going to be one under here. Now, I could dismantle the cryo room. However, the benefit of the cryo room is, in a pinch, if I'm waiting for the farm to generate algae, I can park this in the sun and sit in the cryo room, because the cryo room negates all food consumption. If I need to, I can park the ship in the sun, as long as I've got some algae farms, and I can just wait it out. This is going to be a challenge. So, first things first, I'm going to want a conveyor up here. Problem number 3. We need small steel tubes for conveyor junctions, and you can't do those without a basic assembler. So, I'm going to have to get this built before I can finish building this, which is a royal pain in the arse, but it is what it is. Right, so we've got the basic assembler up. I queued up some small steel tubes, because we need that. And we can take that and feed it into... In fact, do that now. Take those. Put them into the conveyor, and that's now all conveyed up. Happy days. Everyone's happy again. Apart from me, because I'm still starving. Let's do 1. 2 of they. 1. 2 of those down. While we wait for the build planner to do its thing, let's just sit in the cryo. Yes, okay, whatever I've got is what I've got. Let's try and get one going. Is this the one which was mostly done? No, but it is now. Motors, motors, motors. Where are the motors held up? Oh, I've got lots of stuff trying to be queued. Let's get rid of all that. Iron and nickel, so I need more. This is basically everything that's missing. Let's get more stone. Again, I don't have a convenient way to deposit it now. I suppose what I could do, because that's technically working, so I could just park that in the sun. That should, in theory, start generating some food. We just need to do a bit more mining. I don't know why I'm going to the bottom. Oh, the main reason I'm going to the bottom of the hole is to stop the fragments from flying out. But in reality, as long as I'm somewhere under the ground, then it should be okay. Right, I'm going to grab a whole bunch more stone, and then hopefully by the time I'm done, that would have generated some food. Right, so we managed to finish the second algae farm. Now we did it by stealing some glass from this one. As you can see, as long as you have everything below the functional line, it will continue to work. So we were able to steal a little bit of glass from this one to finish this one. And we can now go park this in the sun and generate food before I starve. Here we go. Parked in the sun, we're going to park ourselves in the cryo chamber. I'm going to AFK here a little bit to get some food. Okay, so it's been about 15 minutes. And we seem to be getting, when we're in full sunlight, we seem to be getting 2 kelp or 2 algae every 3 minutes. But the issue is, the sun is always moving. So we always have to constantly readjust. In the future, we're going to want to get these onto a sun tracking rotor array, but that is very much in the future. That is not for us to do today. So we've now got 4 meal packs, which is fine. That will last us, I mean, 4 times 8, 32. That gives us another 32% to our hunger. which pretty much doubles what we've got. So what we can do is we can continue working as long as we park this in the sun. Which kind of defeats the purpose of coming to the dark side of the asteroid, if I really can't lie on that one. So we're going for a different tactic. We're going to take our mini Venator, and we are going to stick it on the light side of the asteroid, whilst we dig stone and work. Now, I have a sneaky suspicion. If I remove one of the half panels underneath, I should be able to get to the cargo container. And with easy access to the cargo container, we can use the ship as a parasol to protect us from the sun. I think that's a valid tactic. The other thing we need to do is we need to get some solar panels and an oxygen farm on this. Now the oxygen farm can go in the middle there. It's not a problem. The solar panels, I think the easiest place to mount them would be on the sides of the algae farms. Or we could possibly mount it to the side of the tank there. Either way, we need to get oxygen farm and solar panels, and then we will be sorted for passive power. Now we basically want to keep the sun directly above us for as much as we can. I'll continue just chipping away at picking up stone, because we're going to need a lot of stone. Now I believe cargo access should be under here. Yeah, there it is. You can see it there. There we go. So we've now got direct access to the cargo container for the moment. Just fly straight into the rock and grab as much stone as we can, because without any ores, this is all we've got. This is all we can process. We can't build an ore detector, but even if we can build it, it's very expensive. So we're going to need a lot of stone to be able to build it. So that's what we're going to do now. Just constant mining. Okay, I've parked the ship in the sun. 2 algae farms is not enough to sustain me. I'm going through food quicker than I can make it. So to counteract that, I need probably another 2, which I'm going to put either side. And then that brings in the issue of how do I stop this from spaghettiing out of control? So I think I'm just going to take a bit of time to plan. I'm going to move the assembler from there into this spot here. And I'm going to put conveyor junction where this was. I'll join these all together so that they don't float off. I'll rotate these into that and extend it out so that it can go up. I'll put a hydrogen tank along the top here so that we've actually got a source of hydrogen and we can refill our jetpack. And it should give us a few more connection points too. So that's the plan. We're going to just do a bit of re-engineering of this ship. And hopefully it'll be okay. Now, I'm in a bit of a dilemma because I want to keep the ship in the sun so that it continues generating food. However, even just in that brief explanation, my radiation level went up to 40%, which is not ideal. So I can either keep it parked in the sun to get more food, or I park it in the shade so I can work on it. I think if we pressurize the cockpit, does the radiation go down quicker? No, not noticeably. Oh, actually, maybe. Damn. No, didn't want to do that. Bugger. Okay. Things aren't so great. I did a stupid mistake and I vented pretty much... I vented a lot of our oxygen out to atmosphere. Yeah, that was like 3% of our oxygen just vented to atmosphere. I can't afford to do that. Alright, we need to grind down the assembler. Or no, we'll grind down where the assembler's going, then grind down the assembler, and we'll fit it into its new home. So the assembler is going there. Come on then, you're coming with me. Right, goes there. Just need to make sure conveyor lines up. See, this is why rushing actually makes things go by slower. Put another one of those there. Let's get another farm down. I don't want to put a farm in the middle there, do I? I want to put a farm there and a farm there. Let's get something to tie these together. That'll do for now. Let's take out these. Again, as long as we're underneath these blocks, then it shouldn't... the radiation shouldn't affect us. Let's weld that up. Then I need some reinforced conveyors. T-piece there, T-piece there. And you know what? I will put a T-piece there as well, because it gives me connection points for other things in the future. I can just cap it off. Right. Let's weld you back up. And you. So my build planner, nothing. So I'll grab some of yours. Grab some of that. Grab those two. Let's put those to production. I'm gonna finish going through this build planner and get these bits welded up. Once again, I have run out of glass. I need a lot of glass to finish this last algae farm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a large grid drill and try and tie it in under here and just skim the surface of the asteroid instead of mining by hand, because I'm running out of jetpack fuel. He's a long boy, but it'll get the job done. What a surprise, we're out of iron. So actually, the better play is to dismantle the drill for now, so we still have access to that cargo container at the bottom there. Place all the parts needed for the drill inside the cargo container, and we'll park near the asteroid and we'll just have to do some more mining by hand. This is a bit of a pain, but it is what it is. Gently it does it. I want to get as close to the ground as we realistically can. That's a good distance. Right, I'm going to go dig for some more stone. Oh, let me in, let me in, let me in! Let me in! Thank you. Okay, so if we place that there, move that from our build planner, start it again, and grab what we need. We just need a few more construction components. There we go. We can now stop mining by hand, stop wasting our jetpack fuel. We have a drill. This will help us get the final resources we need. So what I can do is I can sit in the pilot seat. We can turn, let's add the drill to our hotbar. but also add a manual override, as we should just be able to press 4. There we go. The drill is going. We should just be able to plunge it in the ground now. We can just plunge it in the hole that we started making. This can collect stone way faster than I could. Look how quickly that inventory is going up. Look at that. 34,000 there, 39,000 in there. We are going to process stone like it's going to go out of fashion. We are absolutely going to scar this asteroid, but that's fine. I've got a funny feeling we're going to have an issue with gravel next. There's nothing I can do with gravel other than eject it into space. I'll be able to get this final bit done. Almost did it, almost did it, almost did it. Let's not vent to atmosphere, shall we? Aha, here we go. Ta-da! Right, let's finish doing the glass and the rest of these. Right, food should not be a problem. 3 farms is sustainable, 4 farms will be comfortable. Food, no longer an issue. Oxygen is okay, as long as I don't vent any more to atmosphere. Food's okay, oxygen's okay. Power. We're down to 8 hours just idling. Which ain't great. So solar panels will be the next thing on our list. So what I need next, I need to build some solar panels. What we've got our basic assembler on, we have a hydrogen tank on, we have our 4 algae farms on, we have our 2 solar panels on, we have floodlights so we can see where we're going, and we've got a drill so we can collect more resources without me having to go outside. Now, as you can see, my hydrogen reserves on my jetpack are getting quite critical. I've only got 23% left. As long as I don't vent any more into space, oxygen is fine. Hydrogen is going to be our problem. If I run out of hydrogen, I can't get around. Or at least not very easily. So we can get more hydrogen by getting ice and splitting it in the oxygen and hydrogen generator, of which we have one on here somewhere. Let's get into the shade before I start burning to a crisp. So to get hydrogen, we need ice. To get ice, we are going to need an ore detector. So I think for next time our focus will be getting an ore detector, finding ice, and dealing with our critically low hydrogen supply. So if we need more power, we can get power. Power is sorted. Food is also mostly sorted. Oxygen is going to be sorted as long as we can find ice. And we need ice anyway for hydrogen to get around. So ice is going to be our next priority. I'm going to hop into the cryopod. And then next time we are going to go on a hunt for ice.
Officers Log 01. Addendum. Stardate 03-01-2081. The cause for the lifeboat ejection is still unclear. The flight recorder has nothing logged. I've evaluated the lifeboat systems and deemed them fit for purpose. However, they are lacking in some areas. I've had to outfit the craft with some algae farms and solar panels to ensure I do not starve nor freeze to death, as well as crudely mounting a drill to ensure I don't cook under the intense solar radiation from Kian's star whilst gathering resources. This lifeboat is outfitted with the bare essentials for a survivor to last for 2 solar cycles at most without intervention. This is fine in the core worlds, but severely inadequate for a colonization mission. My hydrogen supply is running critically low, so I'm going to go back into cryo whilst the ship recharges, and will make finding a source of ice my priority when I wake. This is Fiery Shadows of the UPML signing off.